The movie begins with the U.S. having a new president, Thaddeus Ross, who used to be a tough general but now wanted to show that he had changed and could be a good leader. After Steve Rogers gave up being Captain America, Sam Wilson stepped in to take over as the new Captain America. On that day, Sam and the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres, were taking down enemies at the Serpent Society's headquarters, located in a monastery. Sam was equipped with a vibranium shield and enhanced combat gear. He quickly took down the bad guys. This time, their mission was to retrieve a package that belonged to the leader of the Serpent Society, Sidewinder. When Sam and Torres arrived at the hideout, Sidewinder took off, ordering his troops to secure the package. He sent a strong opponent to fight Sam and slow him down while he made his escape. Sam didn't have any superpowers, but with sheer determination he managed to take down the big guy. Meanwhile, Torres successfully secured the package. At the same time, Thaddeus Ross, now known as President Ross, was visiting his wife's grave, feeling emotional. That's when he received word that Captain America had successfully recovered the package. Sam and Torres shared a close bond, like that of a student and mentor. After the fight, they decided to visit Sam's old friend, Isaiah Bradley, at the gym, where they even had a brief sparring session. Not long after, Sam received a call from President Ross. When Isaiah questioned why Sam was working with someone like Ross, Sam explained that the country was always in danger and that they had to work with whoever was in charge. Sam then asked Isaiah to accompany him to the White House to see what was happening. At the White House, they took some photos before Ross called Sam to thank him for retrieving the package and asked him to bring back the Avengers. Shortly after, Ross greeted the Japanese Prime Minister. It was a gathering of important government leaders from many countries, and Ross revealed a major discovery: a celestial island in the Indian Ocean that was rich in valuable resources. The island contained adamantium, a metal even stronger than vibranium. Ross didn't want a global conflict over it, so he proposed that world leaders work together to share the adamantium fairly. During Ross's speech, Isaiah suddenly stood up and shot him, causing chaos. Security secured Ross while Sam and his team dealt with multiple shooters, including Isaiah. Isaiah fled the White House, heading toward a park with guards hot on his trail. In the end, they caught him, but it was clear he was confused and terrified, unsure of what had happened. Sam visited Ross, who was recovering, and expressed his belief that Isaiah was innocent and that there was more to the story. However, Ross's security advisor, Ruth, insisted that Isaiah had acted alone, along with 4 others. Sam wanted to investigate further, but Ross no longer trusted him and ended their partnership. Before leaving, Ross took a pill from his pocket and swallowed it. Later, Sam visited Isaiah in jail and asked why he shot the president. Isaiah claimed he had no memory of it. He remembered being at the White House, then suddenly found himself in the park surrounded by police. He warned Sam to stay out of the situation. Meanwhile, Ruth was secretly listening to their conversation. After Sam left the prison, Torres called him with important information. He had checked the White House security footage and noticed that Isaiah's phone had lit up 3 times, just like the phones of the other shooters. Sam suspected something was off and asked Torres to investigate Ruth, believing she might be involved. Meanwhile, Ross made a mysterious call, discussing prisoners with someone. Suddenly, Sam was ambushed by Sidewinder, who had been hired by a mysterious buyer to eliminate him. Caught off guard, Sam used car wreckage as cover and created a distraction with smoke, allowing him to outsmart and defeat Sidewinder. He then took Sidewinder's phone and seized the chance to speak with the buyer. Elsewhere, the Prime Minister of India and the President of France were questioning their agreement with Ross after the White House attack. However, they agreed to continue supporting it if Japan remained involved.
We'll need Japan to proceed.
When Sam returned to HQ, he asked Torres to track the last caller on Sidewinder's phone. He also mentioned noticing something strange about Isaiah during the shootout. Torres quickly found the caller's location, Camp Echo 1 in West Virginia. Sam and Torres headed there to investigate. Meanwhile, Ruth visited Isaiah in prison. As she walked down the corridor, a guard suddenly opened fire on the prisoners before turning the gun on himself. Ross then traveled to Japan to persuade the Prime Minister to stay in the agreement. However, he soon learned that Sam was headed to Camp Echo 1 to investigate the attack. To cover his tracks, Ross ordered the authorities to arrest Sam. Despite hearing about the prison shooting, Sam decided to prioritize investigating Camp ECHO-1. Meanwhile, Isaiah was placed in solitary confinement to prevent another attack. A few days earlier, Ross had made a phone call about a certain prisoner. However, the person he spoke to was mysteriously shot by none other than the buyer, Samuel Stearns, also known as the prisoner. When Sam and Torres arrived at Camp Echo 1, they discovered it was actually a top-secret government facility. They cut through the fence and sneaked into the basement via an elevator. The basement appeared to be a combination of a prison and a laboratory, leaving them suspicious about its purpose. Torres hacked into a computer while Sam examined photos on the wall, including one of Isaiah. They also found classified files linked to President Ross and a bottle of strange pills. Meanwhile, Ross continued negotiating with the Japanese Prime Minister, trying to convince him to support the agreement. However, the Prime Minister no longer trusted the U.S. after the recent attack, and was furious to learn that America had stolen Japan's adamantium, something that Sidewinder had been transporting in the package. Back at Camp Echo 1, Torres made a shocking discovery. Samuel Stearns had developed a way to control people's minds using music and phone flashes. Suddenly, Stearns appeared, revealing that he was the one who had hired the Serpent Society to steal the adamantium. He said he had been locked up by Thaddeus in that place, and was blasted with gamma radiation from Hulk's blood. However, instead of turning into the Hulk, he ended up looking like a mess while gaining Bruce Banner's intelligence. Samuel ordered the guards to go after Sam and Torres, but they tried to take them down without causing any harm. Meanwhile, Samuel had already planned his escape. Just then, Ruth showed up and joined the fight against the guards. Thaddeus told her to find Samuel, who had already made a break for it. Outside, some guards who were supposed to arrest Sam and Torres ended up being swayed by Samuel, allowing Sam and his team to escape. Meanwhile, Thaddeus heard that a Japanese warship was headed for Celestial Island. He had to act fast, so he sent military troops there. Even though it could lead to war between nations, he decided to go straight to the Indian Ocean to keep an eye on the situation. Sam made it to the army base to meet his friend and asked him to analyze the pills he had found at Camp Echo 1. He also ran into Sidewinder, who had been captured. Sidewinder spilled the beans that Samuel Stearns had been held captive by Thaddeus and was forced to develop advanced weapons for the military. It turned out that Samuel had stolen adamantium from Japan to stir up conflict between America and Japan. After learning this, Sam, Torres, and Ruth headed to the Indian Ocean to prevent war. Long story short, they made it to Celestial Island. At first, Thaddeus refused Sam's help, but Sam explained that Samuel had orchestrated the whole situation to create problems between America and Japan. Sam also warned that Samuel had developed mind control technology, meaning Thaddeus himself could be under his influence. Eventually, Thaddeus admitted he was dying and needed Samuel to keep him alive with the pills he had created. He wanted to release Samuel from Camp Echo 1, but couldn't afford to lose the pills. He claimed he truly wanted to change and prove to his daughter that even an evil general like him could become a good person. Suddenly, they received news that 2 of their pilots were attacking Japan. Sam and Torres were sent to stop them. Japan retaliated by attacking America, but Sam and Torres managed to regain control of the situation. Thaddeus tried to contact the Japanese Prime Minister to de-escalate the conflict and explain that the pilots were under mind control, but the Prime Minister ignored him, which enraged Thaddeus. Sam saved 1 pilot from an attacking plane and blocked a missile from an American pilot. Unfortunately, Torres was hit and fell. After a difficult battle, Sam managed to save the other pilot. Thaddeus was furious until he realized Japan had withdrawn its forces. Torres was in critical condition after the missile strike. Bucky, the Winter Soldier, visited the hospital to check on Sam and Torres. Seeing Torres so injured made Sam doubt whether he was truly fit to be the new Captain America. Unlike Bucky or Steve Rogers, he had no superpowers. However, Bucky reassured him, reminding him that Steve had chosen him for a reason, because he believed in Sam's ability to bear the responsibility, even without superhuman abilities. Meanwhile, Isaiah still had to stand trial for allegedly attacking the president. At the same time, Sam's military contact discovered that the pills from Camp Echo 1 contained gamma radiation, which could be absorbed into the bloodstream and was extremely dangerous. Before he could warn Sam, Samuel found and killed him. Thaddeus called his daughter at work and asked if she wanted to go for a walk to see the cherry blossoms, hoping to repair their relationship. Then he attended a press conference and gave a speech. Samuel showed up at the event and met with Sam. During the conference, Thaddeus was bombarded with tough questions from reporters about his connections to Japan. Meanwhile, Samuel told Sam that he intended to expose Thaddeus's secret identity to the world. The army arrested Samuel, and word spread that Thaddeus had secretly imprisoned him. Over the loudspeakers, Samuel began mocking Thaddeus, which enraged him. Suddenly, Thaddeus transformed into the Red Hulk and went on a rampage. Luckily, Sam was there. He tried to calm Thaddeus down, but they ended up in a brutal fight. Red Hulk destroyed 2 helicopters and then charged at Sam, who led him toward the Washington Monument. The fight took place on a street surrounded by cherry blossoms. Sam tried to bring Thaddeus back to his senses by reminding him of his daughter's love for cherry blossoms, but Thaddeus was too consumed by rage. Sam struggled against his immense strength, and even his vibranium shield couldn't withstand Red Hulk's attacks. In the end, Sam caused a massive energy explosion that devastated the surrounding area. Both Sam and Thaddeus survived. Realizing he couldn't defeat Red Hulk physically, Sam attempted to reason with him. When he mentioned Thaddeus's daughter's name, it finally snapped him out of his rage, and he reverted to human form. Isaiah was released after being proven innocent. Later, Sam visited Thaddeus, who was now locked in a special containment cell in case he lost control again. Sam revealed that the pill Thaddeus had taken contained gamma radiation, which had triggered his transformation into Red Hulk. Thaddeus had stepped down as president, but the agreement he had fought for, ensuring the fair distribution of adamantium, was successfully enacted. Shortly after, Thaddeus received a surprise visitor, his daughter. He showed her that he had genuinely changed for the better. Meanwhile, Sam checked on Torres, who was recovering. He told Torres to hurry up and get better and teased him about his mistake, calling it a rookie move. Then he gave Torres some tips for their next fight. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video.